Have you ever felt a strange sort of hum beneath the noise of your life? A quiet, persistent vibration that tells you something is off. It's not a loud alarm, nothing you can easily point to. It's more like listening to an orchestra where one instrument is just slightly out of tune. Everyone else seems to be tapping their feet, enjoying the melody, but all you can hear is that one discordant note. You look around and you see people hustling, climbing, celebrating victories that feel strangely hollow to you. They are playing a game with such ferocious intensity, and you find yourself standing on the sidelines, not because you can't play, but because you're no longer sure you want to win the prize. There's a peculiar loneliness in this, isn't there? It's not the loneliness of an empty room, but the profound isolation of a crowded one, where you feel like you are the only one who has read a secret script, a footnote that reveals the whole production is a magnificent, well-intentioned fiction. You might have diagnosed yourself 1,000 times. Perhaps you're too cynical, too sensitive. Perhaps you're broken in some fundamental way, missing the chip that allows everyone else to believe so earnestly in the rules. But what if I were to tell you that this feeling, this deep, unsettling sense of displacement, is not a symptom of your brokenness, but the first stirring of your wholeness? What if that discordant note you hear is not a flaw in your hearing, but the first true note of a deeper reality you are beginning to perceive? What if your failure to fit into the world is the first and most crucial sign that you are beginning to find yourself? This journey, this awakening, is not a gentle one. It doesn't arrive with angelic choirs and a sudden blissful understanding. It comes with a series of quiet earthquakes, truths that shake the very foundation of the reality you were taught. These are truths that the truly awake learn the hard way, not through books, but through the friction of their own soul against a world that doesn't understand. And there are 5 in particular that change everything. The first truth you learn is the end of belonging. You see, from the moment you are born, you are taught the art of belonging. You learn to mirror the expressions of your parents, to adopt the slang of your friends, to wear the uniform of your profession. Society is a vast and intricate system of clubs, and the price of admission is always a small piece of your authentic self. You trim your edges, you sand down your eccentricities, you quiet the strange music in your own head to better hear the popular tune. And for a long time, it works. There is a comfort in the shared illusion, a warmth in the collective nod of agreement. But then, one day, the costume starts to feel itchy. The script sounds absurd. The price of admission, which once seemed so reasonable, now feels like an act of spiritual bankruptcy. You stop laughing at jokes you don't find funny. You stop nodding along to opinions you find hollow. You start to speak a quieter, truer language, and you discover, to your initial horror, that very few people understand it. This is where the pain begins. The invitations stop coming. The knowing glances from old friends are replaced with confused stares. They see your withdrawal not as an act of integrity, but as an act of judgment. They think you believe you are better than them, when the heartbreaking truth is you no longer know how to be anything other than yourself. You are a ship that has pulled up its anchor, and while you see the vast open ocean of truth ahead, all they see is a friend who has abandoned the safety of the harbor. This is not a failure. This is graduation. You have simply outgrown the need for a borrowed identity. The pain of not belonging is the growing pain of a soul that is finally, after a lifetime of confinement, stretching to its full size. You are not losing your tribe. You are becoming your own sovereign nation, a place of origin to which you can always, always return. This leads you inevitably to the second truth, which is perhaps the most difficult to bear, the burden of inescapable clarity. Once your eyes have adjusted to this new light, You can never again pretend to be in the dark. You begin to see the architecture of the game everywhere. You see it in the boardroom, where people use words like synergy and optimization as spells to hide their fear of irrelevance. You see it at family gatherings, where ancient roles are played out with the grim determination of a long-running theatrical production, everyone sticking to their lines, terrified of what might happen if they were to improvise. You see the desperate hunger for validation behind every social media post. You see the raw, trembling fear behind every act of aggression. You see the profound loneliness behind the brightest, most sociable smiles. At first, this clarity feels like a curse. It robs the world of its comforting enchantments. A beautiful advertisement becomes a calculated manipulation of human insecurity. A political speech becomes a carefully crafted performance of outrage. A romantic gesture can feel like a transaction, an unspoken negotiation. You see the strings on all the puppets, and you see that most of the puppets are holding the strings of other puppets. It can make you feel profoundly, terribly alone, like the one sober person at a wild party. You want to scream, "Don't you see? It's all a performance." But you know they can't see, because to see it would mean the end of the party, the end of the comforting illusion that they are in control. This clarity is not cynicism. Cynicism is a form of armor. It's a bitter conclusion. What you have is not a conclusion, but an open-ended perception. It is seeing the truth and, in the same moment, feeling a deep and aching compassion for those who cannot. You see the frightened child behind the eyes of the bully. You see the lost soul behind the arrogant CEO. Your heart breaks, not with condescension, but with a shared sense of the human predicament. You are no longer just an actor on the stage. You have been given a backstage pass. You see the props, the lighting rigs, the stagehands. And while it may spoil the magic of the play, it allows you to finally appreciate the artistry, the effort, and the desperate hope that fuels the entire production. This is not a curse. It is the beginning of true compassion, a compassion that is not based on pity, but on the unflinching recognition of a shared reality. And as this clarity deepens, the third truth arrives, and it feels, to the outside world, like the most shocking failure of all: the quiet death of ambition. The world as we know it runs on the fuel of ambition. It's the desire to have more, to be more, to climb higher. The ladder of success is the central altar in the temple of modern society, and we are all taught to climb it as fast as we can. We collect titles, possessions, accolades, followers, all as proof that we are winning. You may have been a formidable player in this game. You knew the rules. You knew how to hustle, how to network, how to achieve. But after the awakening, you look up at the ladder and you no longer feel the urge to climb. It's not that you've become lazy or apathetic. It's that you've realized, with a certainty that is both terrifying and liberating, that the ladder is leaning against the wrong wall. The prizes offered at the top, the corner office, the luxury car, the social prestige, they seem like children's toys, shiny baubles meant to distract you from a deeper poverty of the soul. Your friends and family may see this as a crisis. They'll say you've lost your drive, that you're wasting your potential. They will try to motivate you, to reignite that old fire. But they don't understand that you haven't lost anything. You have simply exchanged a frantic, external fire for a steady, internal warmth. You are no longer interested in the frantic race of doing. You have become fascinated by the quiet art of being. The ambition to conquer the world is replaced by a desire to experience it. A perfectly brewed cup of tea, a conversation that wanders into the heart of things, the feeling of sunlight on your skin, the sound of rain. These small, insignificant moments become charged with a profound sense of reality that no promotion or bonus could ever provide. You have stopped chasing the future and have arrived, breathless and relieved, in the present. The world calls this giving up. You know, with every fiber of your being, that it is the beginning of receiving everything that truly matters. This is not stagnation. It is the discovery of a different kind of motion, the gentle, powerful unfolding of a flower, which does not struggle or strive, but simply becomes what it is. The confluence of these three truths, the end of belonging, the burden of clarity, and the death of ambition, leads you to the fourth and perhaps most profound realization, the experience of the great aloneness. This is different from the social loneliness of the first truth. This is a deeper, more existential state. It is the recognition that your innermost experience of reality is fundamentally incommunicable. You can try to explain it with words, with art, with gestures of love, but the core of it, the subjective taste of your own consciousness, remains yours and yours alone. You are an island universe. Before, this idea would have been terrifying. We spend so much of our lives trying to merge, to dissolve our boundaries, to find that one person or group that will finally see us and understand us completely, making us feel whole. But the awakened person realizes that this is an impossible quest. You were never a half looking for its other. You were and have always been a complete and total whole. The great aloneness is not a lack. It is not a void waiting to be filled. It is the discovery of your own infinite internal space. It is the moment you stop looking outside for your center of gravity and realize it has been inside you all along. This solitude is not empty. It is pregnant with potential. It is a sacred silence in which you can finally hear your own voice, not the chorus of opinions you've internalized from society, but the quiet, steady whisper of your own being. It is in this aloneness that you become your own best friend, your own wisest counselor, your own most compassionate witness. You learn to walk with yourself, to sit with yourself, to find a deep and abiding comfort in your own presence. The desperate need for another person to validate your existence simply falls away. Of course, you still love, you still form deep, meaningful connections, but the nature of those connections change. They are no longer born of need, but of choice. You connect with others not to complete yourself, but to share your completeness. The world may see you as a loner, as someone detached or aloof. But you know the truth. You are not alone. You are all one. You are a complete cosmos, choosing to dance with other cosmoses for a while, in a beautiful, temporary, and utterly free celebration. And it is out of this profound solitude, this deep inner peace, that the fifth and final truth blossoms, almost without you noticing. It is the discovery of an exquisite joy in the utterly mundane. This is perhaps the greatest paradox of the awakening journey. You start by feeling that the ordinary world is a sham, a boring and repetitive game. You seek something more, a grand spiritual experience, a cosmic revelation, a sign from the universe. You may even find some of those things along the way. But the final destination is a return, with new eyes, to the very world you once sought to escape. The Zen masters have a saying: before enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. After enlightenment, chop wood, carry water. The activities don't change, but your relationship to them is revolutionized. You stop searching for the meaning of life and realize that the meaning is in the living. The act of chopping the wood, the feeling of the axe in your hands, the scent of the pine, that is it. The act of carrying the water, the coolness of the bucket, the sound of its sloshing, that is it. You have been searching the world over for a treasure that was, all along, hidden in your own hands. The frantic search for happiness, which is always a projection into the future, dissolves. In its place comes a quiet, unobtrusive joy, which is simply the byproduct of paying full attention to the present. You begin to notice the intricate patterns on a leaf, the way the light filters through the clouds after a storm, the particular taste of your morning coffee. These are not distractions from the important business of life. You realize they are the important business of life. This is the ultimate freedom. You are no longer a prisoner of circumstance, waiting for the perfect conditions to be happy. You are not waiting for the weekend, for the vacation, for retirement. Your life is not a dress rehearsal for some future event. This is it. The show is on, right now. The universe is not holding anything back from you. It is offering itself to you completely in every single moment, in every sensation, in every breath. And all you have to do to receive it is to be present. So you see, these 5 hard-won truths are not stages to be completed, but facets of a single profound shift in perception. They are the inevitable consequences of no longer playing the game. The pain of it is real. The isolation can be immense. You will be misunderstood. You will be a puzzle to those who are still deeply invested in the collective dream. They will want to fix you, to save you, to bring you back into the fold. But you cannot go back, any more than a butterfly can return to its chrysalis. And in time, a new kind of peace settles in. It's not a loud, celebratory peace. It's a quiet, deep, unshakable peace. A gentle amusement at the frantic dance of the world. You are in the world, but not of it. You can play the games when necessary, but you no longer mistake them for reality. You are the dancer who has suddenly become aware of the dance, and in that awareness, you are finally, truly free to move. So, the next time you feel that ache of loneliness in a crowd, that frustration with the superficiality of it all, that feeling that you are a stranger in a strange land, do not rush to pathologize it. Do not label it as depression or anxiety or social awkwardness. Pause, breathe, and listen to it. Treat it not as an enemy to be vanquished, but as a messenger, a guide. It is the voice of your deepest self telling you that you are waking up from a long collective dream. The problem is not you. The problem is the game you are no longer willing to play. You are not broken. You are, at long last, becoming whole. And that, in a world of beautiful, sleeping dreamers, is the hardest and most sacred truth of all.